1. Blog Talk Radio.
Contra Radio Network, Preparedness Radio, with your host, Josh Jeffers. And good evening, John Jeffers here Wednesday night. Contra Radio Network. I'm your host, founder, and executive producer. Yes. Now tonight, I want to talk to you a couple of things. The title of the show tonight is Two Sets of Rules. And you probably have an idea of where I'm going to go with this, and if you don't, that's okay. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to guide you through it here. And I think it's important that we understand this, not only as patriots, but as preppers as well. So to start off with, let's knock off the elephant in the room, shall we? First thing we're talking about the shooter in Vegas. Okay? It happened. And when I heard about it happening, I was in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin with my wife. We had taken the RV up there to spend the weekend in Lake Geneva, and Sunday morning, that was the talk of the all over the place about the shooter in Vegas. And I thought to myself, how long before the conspiracy theorists come out of the woodwork? I had not long to wait. And it happened. It happens all the time. And for that reason, if you follow the CRN Facebook group page or the CRN like page on Facebook, I haven't commented on it. And you're probably wondering, maybe you're wondering, well, why not? I'm going to tell you why. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You see, as preppers and patriots, but mostly for preppers, the reason we're preppers is we like to stay ahead of the game. We want to stay ahead of what may happen, what might happen, what could happen. That's why we prep. I see my good buddy Porky Wheel in Northern Ireland is on. Good evening, my friend. Or should I say, it was a good morning. His time. And what I want to, and I'm thinking to myself, it doesn't matter. Because as preppers, we have to stay ahead. Now, granted, do me a favor. For some of you, you go on your social media accounts, and for your friends that are preppers or patriots, take account. Just take account of how many of your prepper and patriot friends have started off with their own theories about who and why and how. And then take account of those same category of preppers and patriot friends of yours and see how many have actually commented on it. Where I'm going with this is very simple. And it's, yes, it's a tragedy. And yes, bad things happen in this world. And yes, sometimes some of us end up being victims of those incidents. But as preppers and patriots, if you're truly into the prepping, if you're truly into the patriot movement, and I'm not saying it's bad, I consider myself a patriot. This show is for patriots as well as preppers. I want you to understand something here. Our job is not to react to what has happened, but to prepare for what could, might, or should, or will happen. Now, There are some of us that will scream that this is what? I see my good friend Julian from Australia has joined us. And I think it's morning on his side of the planet. Good morning, my friend. Thanks for joining from Australia. You know, it's our job to be a step or two ahead of the curve. The curve being, what's the government going to do? What might happen, what could happen, what will happen, what should happen. We can guess at it. But our job as patriots and preppers are to be at least 2 steps ahead. Does that mean that we should not pay attention? No, by all means, pay attention to what's going on. But don't dwell on what has already happened. You can put out all your theories about who, what, where, why, when, and how you want. I will not be wasting my time with that. I look at it and say, okay, how soon before the government tries to move to restrict firearms? Within 12 hours, the Democratic Party had already put forth, their temper tantrums, screaming fits in their high, shrill voices, saying guns are evil, guns are evil. No, people are evil. Guns are inanimate objects. No worse than a knife in your drawer in the kitchen, or the scissors in your wife's sewing kit, if she happens to sew, if anybody ever does. No different than a hammer that's in your garage, just a tool. It's an inanimate object. Things, inanimate objects, are not evil. People are. When you understand that, do not dwell on what has happened. You can't change it. One of the things my partner and I used to tell the new kids when they came on the department with us, and we get the inevitable, 1050 with injuries, a car crash with injuries. Yes, get there quickly, but don't go there hog wild. Because no matter how fast you get there, you can't stop it. You will not prevent it. It still happened. And you cannot help anybody if you yourself get racked up in a crash on your way to the crash. The same principle applies here. Yes, pay attention to it. Yes, look at it, see it for what it is. You can put all the conspiracy theories you want out there. I don't care if they're right or they're wrong. The fact of the matter is you can't change it. It's done. It's over. Patriots and preppers who have level-headed thinking will think, okay, this has happened. What is going to be the response of the government? Will there be a response from the government? If so, what will it be? What would it be? What could it be? We have to keep at least 2 steps ahead. That's why we're preppers. What do I think the government's going to do? I have my own ideas. And as the investigation goes forth, whether you agree with the investigation, whether you agree with whatever they uncover or don't uncover, doesn't matter. It does not matter. Hear me clearly. I'm going to say it again. It does not matter. Does it matter to the families of the victims? Yes, it does. It does matter to them. They want to know why. I can't give them an answer. I'm not sure anyone's going to come up with an answer for this one. But what they should be doing, if you're a prepper and a patriot, you got to be thinking ahead, at least 2 steps ahead. You remember back to the Newtown incident with the school children with Adam Lanza decided to go in and wipe, and shoot up the school. Do you remember what happened in the following weeks? We saw 30-round magazines for AR-15s either pulled off the market or the market just went crazy. You couldn't get them. You were lucky if you could get a 20-round magazine. And then there were some stores, some dealers, who said, we're not going to sell high-capacity magazines anymore. Okay. I won't be buying from you. Simple as that. Oh, by the way, and all those stores who said they weren't going to sell those 30-round magazines, guess what? When they saw their business drop off, they had a quick change of heart. See, their principles don't run as deep as their pockets. And you're going to find that with just about any politician. And we're not done with them yet tonight. Still got something to go for them. It was at that point that I started to realize myself. And I think it was, it was before I started doing this show. I started realizing the fact that you got to keep 2 steps ahead. They are going to complain. These same people will complain about your right to have a firearm. Now, this guy, now, you know how I feel about the mainstream media. Happened to catch MSNBC because I always like finding out what the enemy is saying. And to me, the mainstream media is my enemy. For a number of reasons, and probably the same reasons you can figure out for yourself. They said, he's had 35 weapons. And he's been across 4 states, and he's bought weapons for the last 30 years. Mm-hmm. So you're going to tell me, and you're going to report, that for 30 years, this guy has had this wild fantasy that I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this diabolical plan into action. And for 30 years, he does nothing but collect weapons and ammunition. Mind you, he checks in at a popular hotel in Vegas with 10 suitcases. I've never been to Vegas. I don't know how many people show up with suitcases. But with 10 suitcases for one person? I mean, I don't know. I'm not judging them. Can't. But my point is this. The mainstream media is going to bang the drum, bang, 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 as much as they can, for as long as they can, for as loud as they can, for their shills in the Democratic Party. And they're going to scream about the fact that you shouldn't be allowed to have a weapon. You have to prove that you're a responsible gun owner. Do I have to prove I'm a responsible driver for my vehicle? Now, true, driving is considered a privilege by the states, the individual states, whereas the right to bear arms is a constitutional right. Now, there are some that say we have the right to free speech, but there are limits to that. For example, we cannot scream, the proverbial example, cannot scream fire in a crowded theater. And I'm not sure that's even a good analogy, but I've heard it made already. What I can tell you is this. Think in the past what the government has done, what the free market has done when it comes to weapons and high-capacity magazines and whatnot. If you want a bump stock, I would strongly suggest you buy it now. Now. It is my belief they are going to outlaw those very quickly. Did he use a bump stock? I don't know, but it's been suggested. All right. Now we're done talking about the elephant in the room. I've told you what I think and what I'm going to do. Now, the title of tonight's episode is 2 Sets of Rules. Some of you know what I'm going to say. Some of you are probably got an idea, an inkling of what I'm going to project and say. And that is this. In this country, whether we like to admit it or not, there are two sets of rules in our society. You see, we have an aristocracy in this country. Whether we want to admit it or not, it's true. Just because you don't want to admit it does not mean it does not exist. The fact is, it does exist. And when you say, John, when you talk about an aristocracy, what I'm talking about is this. Sometimes we call them the elites. The Washington elites, the DC elites, the GOP elites, the Democrat elites. The fact is this. And as preppers and patriots, we need to come to terms with this so we can cease being disappointed by what we know should be happening. Because the bottom line is this. These elites, they exist in our nation's capital. They exist in every state in the union. They exist in every big city. They exist in every county. And they exist in every town to a certain extent, based on one thing: money. Money, perceived power, and political power, political muscle. So, when I talk about two sets of rules, there are the rules that govern thee and the rules that govern them. And by them, I'm talking about the elites. As the middle class sinks lower and lower into economic ruin, the elites, the aristocracy in our country, will do everything they can to maintain that hold on power, that grip on political power, and they do it through money. Money and influence. Money buys influence. Make no mistake. You know this. I'm not telling you anything different. I'm just going to put it out there. So that way we're all on the same page. We all understand this. Now, we have two sets of rules. Case in point I'm going to make is very simple. Very easy. And it won't be difficult. There are obviously, in D.C., many laws have been broken. It doesn't take a law degree to see that. It doesn't take a law degree to say, wait a minute, if this person did that, and is it prohibited by the law, why aren't they being brought to justice? Why aren't they having to pay the price for their behavior? I'm reminded of a young man who was working on a nuclear submarine, and he took pictures of a particular area of the submarine that he should not have. Nothing close up. He just wanted to take pictures to send home to his mom to show what he was talking about, where he works, what he does. Well, the Navy got all those pictures. The young man was not only court-martialed, but convicted and is currently sitting in Leavenworth. We had a failed presidential candidate with her own private email server that was compromised, used by others within her campaign, classified information was breached, or shall we say broached, and obtained by countries not friendly to us, to our country. So whereas that young Navy man who took pictures he probably shouldn't have, and he probably knows he shouldn't have, but he figured, it wasn't anything close up, he serves time in federal prison, while the other person, the failed presidential candidate, she does what? She goes on book tours. We hear her running her mouth every freaking week. And that's just a small example. We have a Department of Justice who has been compromised. Its integrity has been questioned. Integrity has been compromised. And yet no one wants to do anything. Department of Justice, Attorney General doesn't want to do anything. Oh, no. And do you know why? Let's be honest about it, shall we? Because the bottom line is this, folks. If the Republican goes after the Democrats, and then in, say, 4 years, the Democrats, by some miracle of God, or maybe Satan, end up recapturing the White House, the Democratic Attorney General will then turn around and go after Republicans. And neither party wants to be the victim. Neither party wants to be the one to draw blood, because it's very important that we hold on to power. Doesn't matter which party anymore. Apparently neither one has any standards or code of conduct. You know, and to say, and to put, and you know what? I'm going to give the Democrats credit. I'm going to give them props for this. Because their extreme left wing of the Democratic Party said, everywhere is a political battlefield. Everything is a political battlefield. And they're right. They're right. So as preppers and patriots, we can do one of two things. One, we can drive ourselves mad on social media, screaming for justice, and that's not right, that's not fair, why hasn't this person been indicted? Because they're not going to be. Because no country, no government will ever want to lose power. If you want to gain power from that government, you're going to have to pry it from their cold, dead fingers. Because they would rather die in their swill of corruption than admit any wrongdoing. Nope, not going to bother with it. We'll just keep floating it out there, because the American public has a short memory. It's true. So what to do? I'll tell you what to do. Believe me, don't believe me, do it, don't do it, I don't care. The choice is yours, really. You see, you can either A, like I said, drive yourself mad, B, bitch about it, because they don't care if you bitch about it. They don't care. And once you understand they don't care, well, it makes more sense then. It makes this much easier. This is why you prepare. As a patriot, you prepare and you wait for the day. Because that day is coming. The day is coming where the government's going to have to be held accountable. And I'm not talking about any one political party. I'm talking about the whole damn thing is going to have to be held accountable. Anybody who's had anything to do with it will be held accountable. You need to keep preparing, keeping 2 steps ahead, being situationally aware. Me, look, it could be because of my age. I don't go to concerts anymore. I can't stand the idea. I don't like being around large crowds anyways. This thing in Vegas just confirmed my worst fear. This is why, you know what? I live 30 miles from Chicago. I got professional sports teams here. We have major concert venues here, and I won't go anymore. First of all, I don't like big crowds. And 2, they don't really keep you safe. I mean, they'll strip you to say, oh, you can't bring your weapon in the park. Yeah? Are you going to guarantee my safety? Oh, yeah, you can't come in now. Okay, fine. You know, that's cool. I get it. And something else before I forget. These 2 sets of rules we're talking about, you got all these major politicians, especially the ones who scream about we have to have gun control. You can't have a gun. You don't need a gun. We'll protect you. Like, no. But I guess I'm looking at it this way too. How can people who are protected by armed bodyguards, armed security, sit there and tell me I don't have a right to protect myself? I'm not rich. Believe me. And I don't get rich off this show because I'm on here begging for $2 a month just about every month and nothing really changes. So no, I'm not rich. I can't hire my own bodyguards, armed and all the other, and armed security. I can't have that. But yet, they do. So it's guns for me, but none for thee. You know, and Porky Will's absolutely correct. Porky Will is absolutely correct. He said, you know what? When I said that government doesn't want to lose power or control no matter what, last week, and he brings this out, he said, you know, Porky Will says, look at the Spanish government, the prime example of abuse of power. They knew they were going to lose Catalan. So what they do? Well, we'll stop on the election. Really? Do you really think that's going to fool anybody? I mean, seriously. There are two sets of rules in this country, and there's probably two sets of rules in every other country in the world. This country is not an exception to the two sets of rules. Just not, unfortunately. So we have people who can commit espionage, throw classified information around like it's a joke, can take classified information and release it to the mainstream media. We have all kinds of examples. Yet no one's ever held accountable. Ever. And they're not going to be. They could find James Comey was a dirtbag from the word go when it came to Hillary Clinton investigation. And you know what? It won't make a difference. It won't make a difference. He's not going to be held accountable. None of them are. Because for them to do that, that means that they've failed in some way, and that's not going to happen. You see, it was at one time in this country. It was a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now it's a government for the select, supported by the many. That's us. That's you and I. That's the listeners of this show. There's two sets of rules. Two. Rules that apply to them, rules that apply to us. The rules that apply to us are iron-fisted, ironclad. The rules that apply to them, well, not so much. What would get you arrested will not get them arrested. Think about it. I'm sure it's the same way in Ireland. It's the same way in Australia. It's the same way in Great Britain. That's what I'm talking about, two sets of rules. And it's always been that way. What is a prepper to do? What is a patriot to do? I'll tell you what to do. You keep prepping. If there's something out there that you need to get your paws on, get it. Don't wait. Like I said, some of you would like to purchase the bump stock. They've been out there for years. My guess is they're going to outlaw them. So if you want one, you got to get one now. Order it now. In fact, you should open up a new tab on your computer as you watch me and order it now. If you want it. I mean, some people don't need it. That's what I'm talking about. I haven't even checked my switchboard. Anybody calling in? Nope. No one's calling in. That's all right. Tonight is filtered water. Tastes fine to me. So that's what I'm talking about when I say we got two sets of rules, two sets. And this is what I'm talking about. You know, people could say this is, on the right will say this is a distraction from trying to, drain the swamp. Those on the left will say this is why we need gun control. Unfortunately, what they don't realize is that in Chicago, they have gun control, and that doesn't work worth a shit. It just doesn't. Gun control in Chicago is a prime example of the failure of gun control. It is the failure and misery of gun-free zones. But it won't stop them. Oh, Brian wants to know what's a bump stock. Let me see. What is that? He says, I have 3 sets, one for me, one for them, and one for the monarchy. Don't you dish the crown, sir. The crown is always right. Didn't you know that? I believe it's called sovereign immunity. You want to know what a bump stock is? Look it up. It's really easy. Just punch in bump stock on Google or whatever. Basically, the way I understand it works, you just got to hit the stock, push it a couple times, once with your shoulder, and it will turn a semi-automatic weapon into a poor man's automatic weapon, for lack of a better term. Okay. Now, so what do we say? Do you understand why I said that it doesn't matter what happened in Vegas? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. The left is going to has already said, every place and everything is a political battlefield. The right has yet to learn that. What they don't understand and they don't get, smart preppers like those that listen to this show, smart patriots who listen to this show. Yes, it's a tragedy. Sorry it happened, but you got to look down the line and see what's going to happen next. And I'm talking about government reaction. Remember, government, especially this government, has a history of overreaction, knee-jerk reactions immediately. And it filters down, federal, state, local. Knee-jerk reactions all the time. Not, let's take a look, see what's really happening here. Oh, we got to do this now. And that's what they do. Okay. So let's wait, and I will guarantee you probably by the end of the week, you'll see legislation somewhere, probably more than likely produced by the left, about gun control. Now, let's take another step here. I've been seeing, maybe you have too on social media, about those morons in Antifa want to start a civil war on November 4th of this year. All right. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. And I'd like to sit there and try to think, look, don't underestimate your opponent, because, yes, they may act stupid. They may be stupid. They may not even know what washroom to use. But let's take them at their word. Do I think we'll try to start a civil war? Are they going to attack in conservative counties? Are they going to attack conservatives with weapons and try to start a civil war? I don't know. I know most of them can't hit the broadside of a barn. We've seen the training videos. No, I don't. And they put them out there as propaganda, saying, look how good we are. Okay. All right. What to say, what to do. Now, something I read it. As of June 16th, last year, 2016, the population of the United States was a little over 324 million people. I don't know whether that includes the illegals or not. I don't know. That's the number. Don't care about what number they use. There were 30,000 gun deaths last year. So, let's do the math, shall we? If you have 30,000 gun deaths, and the majority of that 30,000 gun deaths are suicides, not murders, but suicides, what percentage of the population is actually killed with a firearm. My guess is that statistically speaking, it's a probably insignificant amount. Just putting it out there. Those are the numbers. Do the math. So, yes, what happened in Vegas is tragic, but let's as preppers and patriots not focus on that. Can't change it. It doesn't matter what conspiracy theory you come up with. It doesn't matter if all your friends are screaming conspiracy, and then they're going to scream cover up, and then it just never freaking ends. Let them get wrapped up in that. Let them get wrapped up in an incident in the past that they cannot change. Even if their conspiracy theories are 100% correct, it cannot change the fact that it's already happened. Let us focus looking forward. What is the government reactions going to be? That's the question. And if we can figure that out, or at least get an idea, at least get a direction, then we can make the moves we have to move before the government decides to make its move. After Newtown, they were screaming they're going to ban the AR-15. Now, you've seen this on social media, and so have I. You get some liberal troll out there. In fact, I just saw it last week, and I still can't believe it's out there, but the idiot decided to post, the AR-15 really stands for Assault Rifle 15. And before I could even say anything about it, I have to ask, I had to think, no, AR-15 stands for Armalite Rifle Model 15. Julian in Australia, he says he's curious on what percentage of killed and injured in Vegas were gunshots versus non-gunshot. I don't know, buddy. I have barely even gone on social media because I'm not going to buy into the conspiracy theories. I think the last one I read just confirmed that was right, and I'm not going to do it. Is that there are two shooters on one floor, and there was another shooter on the fourth floor. I'm thinking, what in the hell are these people talking about? But nonetheless, it's out there. It's one of many conspiracy theories. I don't buy into the conspiracy theories because they're never ending. It's its own trap, circling the drain, going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. And it never ends. And some people never emerge from the rabbit hole. They don't. No matter what's presented to them, they will never grab the ladder and climb out of the rabbit hole because it's safer and much more comfortable in the rabbit hole. As smart preppers and patriots, you know what we do? We look ahead. Always look ahead. If you don't look ahead, then how the hell can you prep? You wouldn't know what to prep for. Sure, we cannot and will not ever have the same amount or same ideas of what's going to constitute a grid down situation. We could agree on three things: food, water, and protection. Guns and ammo. We can agree on that. Most preppers and patriots can count on these three things without fail, without exception. So the question then becomes, mind you, what's after that? Well, we can look back and we can say, well, look at Newtown. What happened to the 30-round magazine for the AR-15s? They became like gold. If you had them, you could sell them 70, 80, 90 bucks a crack, and people were selling them for that and were getting that price. I, on the other hand, said, I'm not paying for that. I am going to buy a whole shitload of 20-round magazines, and that's what I did. I got a whole shitload of 20 magazines. Newtown goes bye-bye. Months and months later, the market for AR-15 30-round magazines is back to where it was prior to the incident. Now I've got some more of those. Yes. you will have people, and they're on TV now. I don't know where these people come out. They come out of the woodwork. It's like, who's this guy? What's that guy? What the hell does he know? They come out, and they're going to be the experts. Okay. And these experts are going to, talk about, well, this rifle does this rifle does that. And they will use the term assault rifle. When you ask them to define what an assault rifle is, they can't. Because there's no such thing as an assault rifle. That's like saying, I have an assault steak knife. I have an assault hammer. Assault wrench. And they're going to be screaming assault rifle, assault rifle, assault rifle. And you ask them, what's the definition of an assault rifle? They can't tell you, so don't sweat it. Let's see, how much time have I got left here? The Belgian Malinois is in the studio with me. So, in the meantime, I wanted you to think about this. Look where we're going. What could possibly happen? Stay 2 steps ahead. That's the idea. 2 rules. Those in power will use all their power, money, political influence, whatever they got. 1, to stay out of, just keep from being arrested from their criminal actions. And 2, you do the same thing. You'll be arrested and you go to jail. Do the same thing they do. See how that works out for you. Oh, who's on the line? All right, looks like we got Terry here. We'll give Terry a little bit of time here. Good evening, Terry.
Oh, howdy.
Go ahead and fire away.
Howdy. How you doing, Mr. John?
We are discussing all kinds of things. Now, I understand you're making a trip to the island of Puerto Rico, correct?
Yes.
Let's get down.
I'm planning, God willing, I'll be planning on landing.
All right. Let's get down to it.
Tuesday the 10th.
Let's get down to it. Tell them what you need. Tell them what you're doing. Go ahead.
Oh, and well, I'm going down to Puerto Rico, and with my vast worldly MacGyver experience, I'm going to go down there and just try to help people out the best I can. To be honest with you, it's very easy for us to hear the news, but really we don't know until we hit the ground. You know how that is. We're never going to get the full story until we see it for ourselves, because these news crews that we see today, they never know what they're talking about. They only get half the story, and they don't get down to the brass tacks of what really needs to be happening. It's kind of like the Hillary Clinton tried to talk about guns. It's just some people just don't know what they're talking about. So I got a GoFundMe page. Right now, the GoFundMe page is up to $1,210. But honestly, I mean, it's grateful. I'm grateful for it. It's going to be something that I could work with, but it is, to be honest, it's not enough. There's a lot of things that I cannot bring with me. I am bringing solar panels, rechargeable external batteries for like cell phones and the like, and water filters. A couple of supplies for water pumps, hand water pumps. I'm making the pump heads for the PVC one hand pumps.
Yeah.
Like they got a marble in it, or 2 marbles. Well, I'm making that now, so that I can the heads of it. I'll have to buy the long bodies of pipe when I get down there. So I need money. You can imagine there's just a lot of things I can't put in a suitcase. I'm going to need I might need a metal pipe to go with it, because if you're trying to hand drill a well to help, a lot of places they have a lack of water. Okay, the wells. I'm getting reports from an Army buddy of mine that a lot of the wells that are out there have been filled with salt water because of the storm surge. And I'm like, wow, you know what? I did not consider that. Well, it'd be nice if they could flush it out, but they don't have power. So the pumps cannot work in a water well if they don't have power. So
what do you need?
hopefully I can.
You need money? You need money?
I to be honest, money, so that I could be down there. I'm thinking also I might have to get me an inverter. If I get me some more money, I could bring a larger, like 100-watt solar panel system that I got my eye on. And if I can get a 100-watt solar power system and a power inverter, so I can switch from DC to AC, and that way, because if anybody does it, well, Gary Mull, if he was on here, he could tell you a lot better than I can when it comes to electricity. A lot of your power that comes in through your car battery or solar panels or a direct generator like a windmill.
You need money.
DC.
You need money.
I'm sorry, yes, but we need money.
Hey,
And everything costs money.
Did you post on the Did you post your GoFundMe page on the CRN pages?
Yes, I have before. I can post it again.
Do it again. Do it again. So that way, the guys that are listening to the show, they can, find it. Put it on both pages by all means. Because, the GoFundMe page this is better planned than Terry's trip to Houston. So this is a much better planned trip. So, Terry's turning out to be the CRN crisis guy. There's a crisis, we send Terry. So
I'm the man on the scene. On the ground.
You are. You are the man You're the man. So as I said,
it would be cool is if I can go down there.
Right.
We can make a difference because of all these things that we as a prepper community talk about for years. Talk about how to do this, how to do that. If an emergency situation happens, this is what I would do. It's not just what you would have. It's what we talked about. You cannot just only have the products like a year's worth of food or 6 months worth of water or 500 gallons of gas, etc. But do you have the skill to be able to rebuild some things? Can you make water? Can you make a fire and cook? You just look around and you just, in a sense, you're just kind of like being MacGyver. You just kind of see a situation and you make something, right? You jerry-rig it. You do whatever you can to make something work. Okay? There's lots of different ways to make things work.
For full transparency, I did donate to Terry's GoFundMe page. I also donated to his Houston and his typhoid trip to Houston. So did you go to the doctor?
Yes.
And?
Doctor tried telling me I'm going to get me a new doctor in the VA. I tell you that. I'm getting tired of my VA doctor. She tried. Well, it's just a personal issue. The way she talks to people.
All right.
But she says that it's just allergies.
You sure?
That's what she says.
What do you think? You know whether it's allergies or not.
Yeah.
You've had allergies before. Go get a second opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
I would. What do you got to lose?
So But anyways, it is getting better. My cough, my mystery cough. But anyways, I mean, it would be a lot easier to understand if maybe I smoked.
Well, look at
But
this.
I don't smoke.
Uh,
I never smoke.
you know, you might want to consider. Jason just posted something on the video feed chat. Satellite phone. Satellite phones are worth their weight in gold right now.
Oh, I tell you, I would love to have a satellite phone. You know what? I can afford to buy a satellite phone. The satellite phones today cost about as much as a brand new smartphone.
It's the satellite time
if
that,
you look at the prices.
that's going to kill you.
Say what?
The talk time for the satellite is what's going to kill you.
Yeah. With the problem with satellite phones that makes them so expensive today is the per minute.
Right.
Every minute that you talk, it doesn't matter. If you call, then you have to pay so much per minute. If they call you, it costs even more money because say like if you call, it's going to cost what is it, like 50 cents or $1.50 a minute or something like that.
All right, Jason.
But if
Jason
somebody
just put this.
if somebody from
you're gonna like
the
this.
United States
You're going to like
call
this.
you, it's going to cost you $4 or 5 minutes.
All right,
$4 or
look.
$5 a minute.
All right. According to Jason, it says you can rent satellite phones from REI for $1.20 a minute. There you go.
All right.
There you go. Just something for you to take a look at. All right. So Terry was going to post.
But I don't have
You're
nearly the money to be able to pay for that.
Well, that's just it. Look. Well, you know, the truth is, Terry, some of the listeners I can't even get $2 a month out of. You know, maybe you know, post the GoFundMe page. Maybe they'll respond. Maybe they won't. I don't know. It's a crapshoot. Some listeners do donate more than that per month, but I've just asked for $2, and I can. All I've got is 1, 2. I think I've got 12 people that help donate and support the show. That's it. So something to think about, my friend. But yeah, put it up there anyways. Put it on both the group page and the like page. You know, every penny counts. Every penny helps. You know. So anyways.
Yeah, and you know, if anybody's curious about where this money is going to, I'll tell you what. I paid for my own ticket. I paid for a one-way ticket to Puerto Rico. Okay? I mean, the reason why I did that is because the airport is so jammed with people trying to get out of Puerto Rico that is a huge bottleneck. I'm trying to get where I don't have to waste time and be a zombie in the airport waiting for my ticket to come up. Because if my flight is canceled or I'm bumped back to other flights because there's other people that's been waiting for 2 weeks, then I'll have to stay in the airport until they finally call my number.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way in hell I'm sticking around the airport for a week. No way.
No.
So what I'm going to do, I'll be on the ground for like 2-3 weeks. I'll see what the situation is.
All right.
And I'll buy the ticket from there.
All right, buddy.
But the money is going to go straight to the people.
No,
the money's not going to me.
No.
I have to spend money for myself.
Right.
To get to be down there.
No, they get it.
So,
they get that.
Yeah.
All right, my friend.
Somebody asked me like, well, how do we know some people may not trust you? And I'm like, well, there's a lot of people that do know me.
Mm-hmm.
They know I ain't getting a damn penny from me. So I'm going down there as like a Christian missionary.
All right.
And anybody that knows me knows that I'm a rough around the collar kind of guy, but I'm kind of like, this is the Christian mission for me, because when people are suffering the most like this, I can't sit back and just watch it happen. I got to get out and at least try to help. Get out there and share some burden with my brother.
Well, and we can help you do that. And we'll, give some money to Terry. Help him out. Oh, well, I only got a few minutes left, buddy. So go ahead and put the post on those, okay?
All right, can do. I'll put it a post on Facebook.
All right.
The Contra Radio Network.
For those of you that did not hear, Julie Kenny is no longer with CRN. She went the Terry way. I was surprised when she said it. She told me, she said, I run out of things to talk about. That's what Terry said when Terry decided, I don't have anything left to talk about. Okay, no problem. And I told her the same thing. Wow. I told Terry, come back anytime you want. It's all right. Maybe, sometimes just need a break. We found a new role for Terry. We sent him into, harm's way, to disaster areas, and say, here, survive and let us know how it goes. So Julie is no longer with Lays of the Watch. Dawn is going to roll Lays of the Watch into her show. And so what I'm going to say to you is this, folks. Look, any of you listeners out there don't want to be a listener anymore, you want to do your own show here on CRN, well, get a hold of me. ContraRadio@live.com, ContraRadio@live.com. Get a hold of me. I'll give you some time. Give you a time slot in the day you want to do it and do your show. Now's the time. Give yourself a chance. Give yourself, the opportunity that you deserve. So there. Terry, did you want to opine on something?
No, I think it would be kind of cool is if I can get down to Puerto Rico. All this talk we do about as a prepper network, we talk about can you do this, can you do that, building up skills. And what if you can get down there and you can show some people that which Puerto Rico has become a nanny state where, California. Yep. Or some parts of New York.
No, it's true.
Chicago, where the government is taking care of everything. They try to push welfare like there's no tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Everybody's on a dole for the government. Food stamps,
everything,
Obama phones, all kinds of crap.
Yep.
So this is a prime example of just to talk to people, put the bug in people's ears, say, look, you got to be able to take care of yourselves, okay? If you're looking for FEMA, even in America, we don't look for FEMA. So don't think that you're just you're getting screwed here. Okay? This is the way they are.
Right.
They're not there to save your life. They're there to help you out, but they can't do everything.
Can't.
Face it. They cannot be there for everything you need.
The government can't be everything to everyone.
The best thing is to take care of yourself.
Right. All right, guys. I'm down to I'm almost through here. Terry, buddy, we'll talk to you. Hey, thanks for calling in. If you can give Terry a hand, do so, please. Even if it's, $10, $20. Every little bit helps.
90 seconds.
All right, I got about 90 seconds here before they shut me down for the night. Thank all the guys that were in the chat room on the video feed. Thanks. I appreciate your time checking with us tonight. Dawn's show, the Contra Dawn show on Friday nights here on CRN, and I'll be back on Wednesday next week. Do you think about it? You like the show? Whatnot? Consider $2 a month. Patreon.com, $2 a month. Give Terry
60 seconds.
Give Terry's venture a few bucks. You could throw it his way on the GoFundMe page. That'd be great. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. So for my Prepper and Patriot friends, I say to you this, please listen up and be very careful when I tell you this and pay attention closely. Be safe, be alert, and be vigilant. Again, be safe, be alert, and be vigilant. I'm John Jeffers for the Contra Radio Network saying good night, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.